Hey gang, and welcome to another Animal Crossing video. I'm Crossing Channel, and since the last update for Animal Crossing New Horizons has just dropped, which will include content in August and September, a lot of us are wondering when we could actually see the next update for the game, and if we could see something a bit more significant, since the last two updates were honestly more on the smaller side. Now, since something really interesting and strange actually happened within this last update, we may have a good indication that we could be waiting a while for the next Animal Crossing New Horizons update. But what is there to this? Let's check out all of the details and what you need to know about when the next update for Animal Crossing New Horizons could drop. So this is what happened in the last update for Animal Crossing New Horizons. Data miners discovered that although Nintendo did not announce this at all, seasonal items spanning the months of October and also November, including Halloween items, were included in the game. Now this was incredibly strange, and of course right now all of these are time locked, you won't be able to get them just by time traveling. However, that's pretty standard, but what's really strange is that Nintendo didn't take the time to actually announce that they were going to include content for October and November in their announcement post, which is definitely a bit strange, especially when you consider that back in the April update, they announced content basically all the way until August. So a lot of people are wondering, what does this mean? Were these items added in as an accident? Was Nintendo not intending to, and maybe there are more that are coming? Or are these items fully intentional, and will Nintendo just activate this update later on, which they could easily do by changing the version number right at the end from an A to a B, like they've done with previous updates? Well, right now we really don't know. However, it doesn't really feel like an accident because all of these items are ready to go in the game, and it honestly doesn't feel like Nintendo are going to add any more. They've basically added just enough for the months of October and November as well, which could indicate to us that the next update for Animal Crossing New Horizons might not happen until November, which would mean that we've got a long time to wait until we see the next content update for the game, which I know would disappoint a lot of people. However, don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There is potentially some hope, which could suggest we may actually get an update sooner than that, especially if it is a more significant one. Now, at the moment, my feeling is that Nintendo will most likely come out with another update announcement sometime in late September to announce that Halloween is returning, you'll be able to get these new items, and you'll also be able to get some more seasonal items for the months of October and also November as well. I believe the reason why they didn't include these items within their current blog post about this recent update is that they probably wanted to separate it so that even though the next update might take some time to come out, fans have still got something to look forward to. That being said though, there is another possibility which would be even better and I think would excite people a lot more. Now, there's a lot of rumors going around that the next Nintendo Direct could actually happen sometime in September, and personally, I believe this is very likely. We have seen Nintendo Directs happen in September before. It seems like a perfect time for it to come out. There's a lot of games coming out around that time, a lot of announcements that they could make about games coming out early next year as well. It's also really close to the holiday season, and I think for a lot of people, they do kind of expect that if we do get a Nintendo Direct, we could see some kind of Animal Crossing announcement. Now, I know what you're thinking, we didn't get one at E3, but historically, yes, we have seen significant Animal Crossing announcements during Nintendo Directs. One misconception that should be cleared up, which I'm sure I'm going to see some comments about, is Nintendo Directs aren't just used to promote new games. Whilst it's true that E3 is usually used just to promote new games, Nintendo Directs 100% do promote updates for their existing games. So a bigger update, a more significant one for Animal Crossing New Horizons, would most likely be announced during some kind of presentation like this. Now, I'm not saying that it's definitely going to happen, but of course we do have a lot of evidence from the latest data mine with the 1.11 Animal Crossing update that some really big new features are still being worked on by Nintendo. Now, I know at this point a lot of our expectations are pretty low and we don't really... Maybe a lot of us don't expect stuff like the Roost and Brewster and Gyroids and all those cool features to return, but we know at the very least from the 1.11 update data mine that Nintendo is still actively working on the cafe, which would be a pretty major update for the game, and one that I don't think they would include merely just in a blog post. If they were going to do a massive update like this, it would definitely happen in some kind of Nintendo presentation, so a Nintendo Direct would make a lot of sense. Now, for all the skeptics out there who still feel like we're not going to see a big update, don't worry, I'm still kind of with you, to be honest. I do actually think a big update is going to happen for New Horizons at some point in the future. I think it's a given. I mean, why would Nintendo still be working on the code for the cafe this late on into the game if it was scrapped content? That's not logical, it doesn't make any sense. But this update could literally happen in 2-3 years from now. They did it with Animal Crossing New Leaf with the Welcome Amiibo update, so who's to say that this big sort of update that's been data mined could happen anytime soon. But I do think it's more hopeful than it has been in the past few months, especially with a lot of people feeling really down about the game. Nintendo is very aware of this, and of course they have made announcements to us telling us that more content is in development and will come later in the year. Now, if Nintendo was merely referring to a few seasonal items and Halloween items, I don't think they would have made that announcement, I really don't. To an extent, it was a bit of damage control to kind of stop fans from going rabid on them, but I also do think there's a lot of truth to content actually being developed, which to me would suggest that it is a more significant update. So if this did happen and Nintendo Direct is coming up, I don't think we would have to wait to November is my point, but if we don't see any sign of that, then I think November is a pretty likely guess. Now, I personally really don't want to wait all the way until November, just, between then to get a few more seasonal items and enjoy, I guess, the fireworks event and then the Halloween event, but that may be what we're working with at the moment. I know that probably is disappointing for a lot of you, especially if you've been waiting for a more significant update for a long time, but I do think the hope is still there for us to see something more significant. Even if it actually does happen in November and that's how long we wait until we see the next major update for the game, and it is a bigger one, I won't mind too much. I just think as long as the next update is actually a significant one and it has a lot of content that people really want, content that we can actually, enjoy for a long period of time and will improve the game in general, then I would definitely be really happy with that. So I'm definitely hoping that we do see that kind of update. It's desperately what we need at the moment. We're definitely lacking more things to do in the game every single day, and we're just lacking some of these features that we missed from past games. I'm definitely more hopeful, like I said, now that they've been data mined and that we've actually seen this stuff get improved in the code, like Nintendo's still working on it. It's not just stuff that was there at launch. But again, we don't know how long we'll actually have to wait to see this content launched. It could literally be in a year from now. But what do you think? Leave a comment down below to let me know your thoughts. When do you think we'll see the next update for Animal Crossing New Horizons? Will it happen sometime in September if we do see a Nintendo Direct? Or will we be waiting until November when the content that's actually within this update ends? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you made it to the end of the video, of course, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. You can also comment Bob's Gang down below to let me know you watched all the way until the end. And you can subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more Animal Crossing videos.